AM 710 WEGG, Rose Hill, Wilmington.
Good morning, Duplin County. Welcome to this April Saturday morning out here with the cows again. You're listening to the Community and Small Business Update for Duplin County. My name is Lee Woodard. We're coming at you from Surge Radio 100, and that is WEGG 710 AM and W263BE Rose Hill 100.5 FM. You can also stream us live at surgeradio.org. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning, and we have a studio full of people this morning. We've got 5 guests. We're going to be talking about the VOTEC programs at James Sprunt. I kind of called it In Search of X, Y, and Z because they got you covered from A to W. So, and this morning we've got Jeff Myers, who's the department head, with us, and we've got Vanessa James, who is a cosmetology instructor, and we've got Erin, who's an instructor for the office administration, and we have special guests. We've got Jonelle and Tashi, who are students with us, and so we've got a lot of stuff to go through. So, at this point, Jeff, it's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us this morning.
Yeah, and a couple of questions for you. What is the VOTEC program at James Sprunt?
Well, VOTEC stands for Vocational Technical Education, and we offer 15 exciting career-ready programs that provide students with the opportunity to start a new career. And we have a wide range of programs. We probably have something for just about everybody. I'll run through the list. We have accounting, we have advertising and graphic design, and I just want to say we're going to have an art show on April 23rd in Herring 101 at the college, and the students will be displaying all their artwork, and it's from 1 to 6 p.m. We also have program agribusiness technology, applied animal science technology, swine management technology, basic law enforcement training, business administration, computer information technology, cosmetology, criminal justice technology, electrical systems technology, and we also have office administration, viticulture and enology technology, which is winemaking and grape growing, and welding technology, and then in January we'll be starting a diesel technology program.
So there you have it, folks. That's that A to W, from accounting to welding. What is enology?
Enology is actually the winemaking part, and viticulture is the grape growing, and we actually have a 2-acre vineyard on the campus where our students get to work. They actually grow the grapes and actually bottle the wine for us.
It's a little bit off of our script, but since we make wine, have we talked about making beer and making vodka?
No, we haven't got into that part. Wine's enough for us right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering. I mean, it seems like fermentation is fermentation.
It is. Well, it's very similar. There's a lot of similarities to it, that's for sure.
Just looking for other ways that we can use the crops we grow.
Yeah.
So that's a long list of programs, Jeff. It really is, and it covers everything from law enforcement to agricultural to typical business and stuff. So if I'm a student and I'm coming to James Sprunt, talk about the degrees, the outcomes that I can have in any of these programs.
Okay, depending on the program, we have 3 different levels of education you can get. We start out the basic certificate, which can be done in approximately a semester, sometimes longer than that, but the minimum semester. Then we have a diploma program that usually takes about a year, and then an associate degree in applied science, which usually takes approximately 2 years to do if you go full-time. It's 4 semesters normally.
Okay, what happens when I get in and I decide that, I just want a diploma, but then somewhere along the way I decide, I think I do want an associate's degree, or maybe even I want to go on to get my 4-year degree. Do I have to start all over?
No, that's what's great about it. Even if you start a certificate, which usually can take you a semester, those classes will work right into a diploma program, and the diploma certificate will also work into an associate degree. And we have a lot of students that do start out with certificate, find out they really enjoy it, and then they go on for the diploma or the associate degree. So it's a great way to get started. If you aren't quite sure, you can try it out.
So it's anywhere from a couple of years to a couple of semesters, depending on what you're looking for as an outcome.
Yes. Example would be like our basic law enforcement training. You can do that within like 4 months, and then you can take the state exam and become a sworn law enforcement officer.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the, people, you hear associates in arts and you hear associates in science. How might I choose one over the other? What's my, why would I choose one over the other?
Okay, and that's a good question. We have an associate in arts at the college, associate in science, and then in our program they're called associates in applied science. And the difference is associate in arts and associate in science is generally considered for college transfer. You do 2 years at the community college and then you transfer to a 4-year institution to get your bachelor's degree. People that do associate in arts and associate in science, normally what they do is take general ed classes. So they take all their English, their math, their science, humanities, social science. Then they transfer and then they take their major classes in their junior and senior year at the 4-year institution. Ours is to make students career ready. So what they do is they get 15 hours in general education, their English, their math, social science. The rest is actually hands-on classes that help them prepare to go out to the workforce. And so that's the big difference. So if a student was telling me they want to transfer to UNCW in accounting, I'd tell them to go get an associate in arts. But let's say they want to start a career in accounting, I would ask them, you can come to associate in applied science, you can get all the stuff you need, go to work, and then we do have some articulation agreements with some colleges like North Carolina Wesleyan and University of Mount Olive where they can transfer and get their bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay. So, and that's one of the things when last weekend we had Andy on here, there's a whole lot of flexibility in all of the programs at James Sprunt as far as when they're offered and what you can do as you get into them.
Yes, I think we can meet just about anybody's educational or career goal at the college. If they let us know what they sort of want to do, we can probably show them how to get there. And so there is a wide variety, and it's right in your backyard. I mean, you can't get much more convenient than right in the center of the county.
Yeah, you're right. And, so really, I guess then, if I understand it correctly, the decision point is, am I seeking that 4-year degree or am I seeking a career? I want to be in 2 years out and working. And that kind of dictates what I take.
Yeah, normally it'd be telling me where they want to go to school and what they want to major in. That would help us determine what degree they need to go into.
Okay. Going back on what I said, that applied science makes them career ready, but talk a little bit more about getting your bachelor's degree.
A bachelor's degree can help you, and more occupation are requiring a bachelor's degree, and we get a lot of students that actually come through our program, Associate Applied Science, and go out into a career and then find out to get promoted they need to get a bachelor's degree. And so a lot of times they will go back and get their bachelor's degree. So you need to keep your opportunities open, I believe, and that's why we're excited at our Associate in Applied Science now. We have some opportunities for them to go ahead and get their bachelor's degree. North Carolina Wesleyan is offering criminal justice and business administration on the campus now for your bachelor's degree, so you can transfer right from James Sprunt and stay on the campus and get your degree.
Yeah, and I don't know that a lot of people realize that you can get your degree right there at James Sprunt. You don't have to leave the campus in order to get your 4-year degree.
Yes, we're really excited about that opportunity for our students.
So tell me a little bit, why might someone say, I just want a diploma?
It depends on how much time they go out. Sometimes they also might already have some job skills or have already got an associate degree, but they want to change their career. So a diploma can be a great way of doing that. Say somebody has a business admin associate degree, but they're deciding they want to work more in accounting, then they could get a diploma in accounting in like 2 semesters and then go to work in that field. So it's a great way to change careers also.
So yeah, it's a way to add a skill that I don't have. I could be certified in one thing, but I want to learn to weld.
Yes.
Or I'm certified in something else and I want to get certified in electrical systems. I don't have to go back and take the general college or any of the other things. I can focus just on that skill set.
Yes, and we do have students that do that. We've had some that have gone through our electrical systems technology and then go back and get welding skills, because that's a great trade also, both electrical and welding. Those job opportunities are out there right now. There's not enough people doing the skilled trades anymore.
Yeah, I've always wanted to learn to weld. Just side note here, I think it would be a lot of fun. All right, so we talked about going and getting your associate's degree or getting a diploma. What about the certificates?
Well, the certificates are basically the same as the diploma. They might already have a degree, and I'll give you an example since we're using accounting. A student can go and they already are working somewhere and they want to move them to a different position. They could come back and get a certificate and then become a cost accountant. So it gives them a short-term way to change careers or just change their direction a little bit, or to gain additional skills that they're interested in.
Okay, that's it could be as little as 16 semester hours, even less.
12 to 18 hours, depending on the program. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about cost. One of the things that we stressed last week is what a bargain. Getting 2 years of general college before you go at a community college. How inexpensive that is compared to what you would traditionally pay for tuition or whatever. What about costs associated with VOTEC?
Well, cost would be the same pretty much in any program at the college. It's about $75 a credit hour, which can sound like a lot, but if you actually break it down to instruction hour, normally it runs between about $3 and $5 an instruction hour. So it's a great deal. I don't think there's any better deal in education. The College Board says, that a community college tuition is usually about a third of what a four-year school's is. So you have that. And I have a niece right now that she completed a associate degree at a North Carolina community college and transferred to a big university, state university, and found out that it's been way more expensive because now she has to pay for room and board and tuition, and so it's extremely high. And what she gets in financial aid now doesn't cover. It covered it at the community college, but it doesn't cover it at the university. It only covers like a fourth of what her cost is now. So
yeah, and I use my daughter as an example. She's at the early college, and it's hard to find a bargain better than that. She's going to graduate in 4 years, not just with a high school degree, but 2 years of college credit, and we didn't have to pay for anything. But even when you come back and look at, had she done a more traditional route of high school, when you look at what your total costs are to get your Associates of Arts, and then compare it, as you said, to cost of school, I averaged for the state-supported institutions, it's about a 80% reduction. If you throw in the incidentals, the accidentals, those are the things they ask for after they spent the incidentals. If you throw it all in, it's cheaper to be here than it is to be there.
Yeah, you usually can, if you come to a community college, you can save enough to pay for your third year at the university. And the other thing, we have a Career and College Promise program. We have early college, but there's a Career and College Promise where high school juniors and seniors can actually come take college courses and earn a certificate in a lot of our programs that would go into a diploma or associate degree when they graduate. But the great thing about that is it's like the early college. There's no cost to it. The tuition's waived, and you can get loaner books from the Duplin County schools. So, yeah, there's some free education out there that not enough people are taking advantage of. But students have to qualify for CCP, but they can check with their counselor at the high school to see if they qualify.
Yeah, and I actually serve on the Parent Advisory Committee for Dr. Abasa Han for the county, and I'm also the representative for the early college. And you're absolutely right. As part of the overall Duplin promise, that career and college promise is quite an opportunity. And if you look at growth projections, this coming year is not a particularly great year for enrollment for any community college, but that is one area where we're growing. We will have, not quite double, the number of high school students taking classes. And what a great opportunity. I know for my daughter it was a great fit, and I'm glad to see that all of our high school students are going to have that same opportunity. Certainly easier with her on campus already, but all of our high school students are going to have that opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to actually try college. There's often when you go off to college, you fall in the big hole somewhere along the way. The hole isn't quite as deep when you started here, and you actually learn how to be disciplined and manage your time and all the other things. So we've been very impressed with it. So, we're talking about it's a low cost. It allows you a lot of flexibility. You get your associate's degree or your diploma or your certificate. And you kind of hinted at it, but let's talk about it. What are some of the advantages to go into a community college for programs like these?
Well, I think the number one thing is cost, because we're in your backyard, we're convenient, and the cost is a big one because people don't realize there's financial aid available. And like at James Sprunt, the majority of our students qualify for Pell Grants and financial aid, like I think over 80%. So most of them pay little or nothing to come to college. And that's a huge advantage, and not enough students realize, or prospective students realize, that they probably do qualify for Pell. And if they're interested, they can go to jamesprunt.edu and check on the financial aid site, and there's information about applying for the FAFSA, and they can check and see if they do qualify. Because once they realize that, they see career change isn't that expensive. They maybe can't afford to come. Like I said, convenience is a great thing. Smaller class sizes, so it's an easier transition from high school to college, or if you've been in the workforce to come back. We have a lot of students that are older come back and they're a little nervous, but they fit in very easily, and we have a lot of support there also for them. Also, faculty and staff, or faculty and student interaction is greater because most of our class sizes are 20 or less. And so students know the faculty know the students' names. I know my niece, she went to the community college, and since she's gone to the bigger school, she's found it's easier, harder to get answers to her questions, and so she's been a little frustrated with that compared to what the community college was. So I just think it's a huge advantage to come into community college. I'm a graduate from the community college, and I know I wouldn't have probably made it if I didn't get through there and get my associate degree, because then I was like, I made it halfway to my bachelor's, now I can make it the rest of the way.
Right. Yeah, I shared last week I was on the horizontal plan. I've never found a class I didn't like. I couldn't decide what to major in, so I was on par to take every class that was offered. And I'll even share, and because to your point, having the smaller class size and access to faculty is really important. And I've shared it with my daughter, so hopefully she won't make the same mistake I did. When I was a senior in college, I had taken everything, but I had a few areas where I needed an extra 3 hours in a social science or whatever. So I was just trying to figure out what I could take and really not work very hard. And, I just needed the hours. So I needed 6 hours and decided I was going to take 2 classes. I was going to take North Carolina history. Having been a North Carolina boy all my life, I figured, how hard could this be? I'm going to take North Carolina history. And then I was going to take a general economics class, and I had taken all of the other classes. I wasn't a business major, but I had taken them all, so I thought, this will be easy. I'll just read the book and take the exams. So the semester started, and off I went, and everything was going really well. I had a 100 grade point average in that econ class, and then I got a note from the instructor. It asked if I would come and see him. And I came, and he said, Mr. Woodard, you have an F in your class. And I said, an F? I have 100 on all your tests. And he said, well, did you read my syllabus? And no, I didn't actually. He said, well, we have a no cut policy in here. If you miss more than 3 classes, you fail. And I had missed 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know how many I had missed. And I was like, uh-oh. So anyway, we negotiated a settlement, and I was able to get a decent grade. But it taught me a lesson, and I look at the community college as a way where you can get those lessons a little less painfully, perhaps, where you have the access to the instructor, and the instructor knows you're struggling, can say something right then, as opposed to a class with 100, 200 people in it, and they don't even know you exist.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And we encourage attendance because usually students do better when they show up.
Just can't beat that.
But if somebody's not showing up, we usually try to get in touch with them to say, you need to be here, and
Right.
it's going to affect your grade, and it could affect your financial aid, because if you don't have a high enough completion rate, that could affect it. So, yeah, we know who they are and why they aren't here, and we take attendance every day, so we know who's there and who's not.
Yeah, and one of the things that we kind of touched on is how flexible. A lot of our programs are in the evening. A lot of them, we do them at different times just to, again, I'm assuming just to try and be as flexible as we can for those who are working and trying to get their associate's degree or whatever.
Yeah, an example, even our viticulture, we have a hybrid class. Normally your classes are seated, and we have what we call hybrid. We're part online and part is seated, but we actually do it on a Saturday so people can come from outside the county to attend some of the classes and work in the vineyard. And so we try to be as flexible as possible for the needs of the community.
Yeah, and it's been just incredible. And I didn't really say something. You kind of went by. You said $3, as little as $3 an instructional hour. One of the big differences, I think, between the VOTEC and maybe the college transfer is just how much hands-on there is in these programs. And it kind of makes sense given the topics, but half of your time is doing something?
Yes, like our welding, the vast majority is actually in there welding or cutting metal or whatever, and so they spend up to 24 to 28 hours a week actually in class, but maybe 4 hours might be in the classroom. The rest is actually getting your hands on it, and that's true for our computers, cosmetology, viticulture. A lot of them have a large lab portion where you actually get to do it, and I think that makes a difference to a lot of students. Some students, they do better by learning hands-on, so I think our programs are made for those.
Okay. Well, Jeff, we're going to bring in some of our other guests. Anything you want to say, we'll come back and catch you at the end of the show. Anything you want to share, or do you want us just to move on to the next program?
Well, if anybody is interested in any of our programs, we'd be happy to have them come down and talk to our faculty and see what they can do with these type of programs and degrees, or if the diploma's right for them, and we'd love to show them our facilities. So if they ever want to come down, they can give me a call, and my number is 296-2531, 296-2531, and I'd be happy to get them connected with one of our faculty.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jeff. It's one of the things that I have said since being at the Small Business Center. There's no wrong door at James Sprunt. You get to us, we'll figure out where you need to go. And if it's not who you called, we'll find out who it is. We're going to switch now. We're going to spend the better part of the rest of the program looking in a little more detail into two of our specific programs, and we're very fortunate today to have a couple of students here with us. But we're going to introduce Erin Thigpen. She's with us today, and Erin is the head of the Office Administration Program. So good morning, Erin.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tell me a little bit about the Office Administration Program.
Well, the Office Administration Program is one of our vocational technical department programs that we offer. It is designed for the individuals who would like positions in administrative support careers. It equips office professionals to respond to the demands of a dynamic computerized workplace. The curriculum is comprised of a great deal of courses designed to develop proficiency in integrated software, oral and written communication, analysis and coordination of office duties and systems, and there's a great deal of technical and interpersonal skills that are taught and reinforced in this particular program.
Okay. And, you know, as Jeff and I were talking, you have, in many of the programs in VOTEC, you have associate's degrees, you have diplomas, you have certificates. I assume some of that applies to office administration.
It does. It does. We do, of course, have the Associate in Applied Science degree that you can get. Traditionally would take you about 4 semesters to complete, which would be your 2 years. This includes general education courses and like your Englishes and maths and so forth, as well as our program-specific courses that we have in the program itself. We also do have a diploma that we offer in office administration. It can be achieved in 3 semesters if you want to come part-time. There's also a certificate that may be achieved in just word processing if you would like to just hone in your skills, like Mr. Myers was saying earlier, to try to further your education if you already have some sort of degree. You can get that certification. You can just come part-time in as little as 3 semesters.
Okay. And I assume we offer the classes in as flexible a format as we can.
We do. We offer the hybrid, meaning partially online and partially in the actual classroom setting itself. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't, when I was talking with Jeff, I didn't ask him, but I assume we take advantage of online courses as well as instructor-led courses. It's really hard to do an online course if you're welding. You've got to get there with the piece of equipment. But in office administration, do you have online courses?
We do have a few online courses for that particular curriculum. However, we do offer a great deal of hybrid classes, which we call hybrid because part of it is online where you can do some of your work, but then also a portion of it is done in the classroom where we can sit and discuss some of these concepts and make sure that they're going in the right direction and so forth, so that they can work at home on some of the other things as well, or from their office or wherever it is that they choose to do so.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of the things we talked about last week, and I will ask when we get our students on a question. You know, do you like online classes as opposed to, you know, conventional classes? I know for me, I didn't take my first online class until I was in my 30s. I was already had my master's in business before I took my first online class, and honestly, I didn't like it to start with because I was, you know, I'm old as dirt, as Regina says. But you know, I was used to having that immediate feedback, talking to a person, and those types of things. And I saw real quickly the discipline required for online classes and those types of things. But you know, I assume that the trade-off, though, for flexibility is really important to our students.
It is, and that hybrid setting really seems to be the key, I think, into having that balance between having the one-on-one with your instructor in person as well as getting online. And if you don't feel comfortable in that online setting, you do have the opportunity to say in person what your questions may be or concerns, or just to give input or gain input in different areas.
Yeah. So, you know, I start out in the office administration program. Let's say I'm getting an applied associate's degree. What are some of the jobs that maybe I might be eligible for or be looking at when I graduate?
Sure. Actually, to me, this is our greatest strength in this program is the job market. Administrative assistants are present in nearly every industry as support to the office setting. So the office setting can mean a wide variety of things. Typically, many individuals are employed in schools, hospitals, governmental agencies, legal, medical, and private settings. It's the degree which makes you employable in such diverse areas that you're able to actually have a very wide job search.
Okay.
So, and according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Overall employment of the administrative assistants are expected to grow by 12% between 2012 and 2022. So that's always a great thing.
Yeah, one of the things that I have said often when I look at Duplin County is, we really are at a glass half empty or half full. It kind of depends on how you want to look at it, but I think you're right. Growth in any particular area is not a particularly common thing, so that's pretty good. Talk to me a little bit about why someone needs an associate in applied science in this field.
Well, with the office administration, we're in the business of assisting people to be competitive in the job market at James Sprunt as a whole. And someone who's taken the time, energy, and focus to graduate from our program shows an employer that you can be taught, that you will learn quickly, and you've gained skills in a specialized area. So when hiring an administrative assistant, employers look for individuals who possess certain skills, and those things would be such as organizational skills, the fact that they are personable, they can have a calm, professional, and somewhat poised demeanor, their ability to contribute to a positive environment, their ability to coordinate projects, definitely from start to finish with either little or no supervision whatsoever, depending on where it is that you work, that they are able to be articulate, that they have good math, spelling, grammar, and computer skills, and of course, they're ethical, trustworthy, and loyal. And our actual office administration program does an excellent job, I believe, in teaching, reinforcing, and giving students the ability to apply those traits in the workforce itself.
One of the things I didn't even ask Jeff, I let him get away. I should have asked you to start with. How long have you been at James Sprunt?
I've actually been there for 10 years now. Okay. Yeah, a little over 10 years. Okay. Yes.
And have you always been in the office administration area?
No, I have not. I actually have just started this position this particular semester.
Okay.
Yes. I'm actually a graduate from James Sprunt Community College, and then I went and transferred with those articulation agreements that Mr. Myers was speaking of,
right,
and received my bachelor's degree elsewhere. So that was great. It has been enjoyable. So I've been there from the time of being a student all the way through, and since then have gone on and done some other things, and then come back to James Sprunt Community College.
And that's just as an observation, because I started in October 1st, so I haven't been at James Sprunt very long. That is not a very uncommon path for someone at James Sprunt. There's a lot of homegrown success when you look at who's doing what and how they got started. Well, before we bring our students, and I've got to get with Jonelle. I can't pronounce her last name, so anyway, we're going to do that on the air. She's going to teach me. But Erin, you've got, before we switch over, anything that you might want to add real quick?
No, other than I really want to impress upon people the fact that James Sprunt, as you all were discussing, what a great deal that it is as far as economics are concerned, as far as the ability to have your small class sizes. Your instructors are also your advisors, and it just lends itself to doing a great job educationally and being able to get what you need and get out there to the workforce and get what you would like to do with whatever your goals are.
Yeah, and it's James Sprunt is I plug it. It's a great place to work. It's almost a family-like environment. But all of the things that you said make this, a wonderful opportunity. And I think part of our job, all of our jobs that work at James Sprunt, is to make sure we're communicating like we are today, what the opportunities are, and encourage people to take advantage of them. Well, we're going to switch a little bit. We've got a bunch of people in the studio, and so as we're getting some others around the mic, we're going to talk to some students. I'm excited about that, to talk specifically about the office administration program. But just a reminder, you are listening to the Community and Small Business Update for Duplin County. I am Lee Woodard, and by the way, I didn't mention this morning to start with, the show is being sponsored by James Sprunt Community College and also by the Small Business Center at James Sprunt. Each week we try to pick a topic, either about what the college is doing in the community or some of the programs at the college, or maybe a small business topic that's of interest. It's hard to believe this thing moves so fast every Saturday. We're already at the halfway point. It's hard to believe. So we will open up the phones if you want to call in. One of the things y'all give me a hard time about, and it's very legitimate, is I never give the phone number out enough. Our phone number is 910-289-2031. Again, that's 289-2031. Feel free to call in and ask any questions. We'll find the right person to give it an answer. All right, Jonelle, you got to tell me, how do I pronounce your last name?
Findeisen.
Findeisen. Is that German?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah. The Eisen is the reason.
There's a lot of Findeisens in the Richlands area.
Oh, okay. Well, my guests, I have two of them, is Jonelle Findeisen and Tashi Pratt, and they're both students fixing to graduate.
Yes.
In the office administration. And again, I'll point to either y'all are sharing the mic. Both of you answer. Why James Sprunt? Why didn't you pick another community college, or why didn't you pick a 4-year school?
Okay. For me, James Sprunt was a logical choice. It's very conveniently located. It's near my home, so transportation's not going to be an issue. And I had attended James Sprunt several years ago, so I had previous experience there, and I found that to be beneficial to my career. And also, it's affordable. They have a lot of programs, financial aid, and scholarships available, and there's always someone there willing to help you with that. So it was the logical progression for me.
Well, when did you start the office administration program?
In 2013.
2013. So you're going to do it in about 2 years. Okay.
Yes.
And Tashi, welcome to the show. Don't be shy. You can talk right into the mic. So, again, you're going to graduate, right?
Yes.
In May or this semester?
May
Yeah,
12th.
okay. So, same question I asked Jonelle. Why James Sprunt?
I chose James. I graduated high school in 2010.
Okay.
I went to Rose Hill, and it was closer, and I felt like it was more hands-on and one-on-one instead of a university, which is a wide variety and is much larger.
So are you looking to get your associates in applied science in
Yes.
office administration? I didn't ask both of you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Janelle shaking her head yes. But forget that this isn't a visual medium, right? We have to say it if we want anyone to know it. Why, I asked why James Sprunt. I'll come right back to you, Tashi. Why office administration? Why were you interested in that program?
When I first started in 2010, I enrolled in the ADN program, which is the nursing program.
Okay.
And you have to have the heart for nursing, and I love to help people, so I was like, maybe that's not for me. So what else could I do to help people? And I chose office administration.
Okay. Jonelle, why did you choose the office administration program?
Well, most of my previous work experience has been in an office setting, and even though I've had years and years of experience, I didn't actually have the credentials to back it up. And when you get to a certain age, you need all the ammunition you can muster to kind of like further your career goals. So therefore, I decided I'd go back and get my degree, and that way I would be able to accomplish that.
No, that's an excellent statement. I've always said, getting your degree doesn't guarantee you anything, but not getting your degree can guarantee you some things.
That's exactly right.
and-
The competition is fierce, and you have really got to work at it and try to succeed, and you have to align all your goals and aspirations in order to get that done successfully. And James Sprunt offers an excellent opportunity for that.
Right. It wouldn't be interviewing students if you didn't ask this question. So what courses did you find most challenging? Tashi, start with you.
I found the office calculations because it's more of an applied math instead of your regular algebra and basic math. And also keyboarding, because you put a lot into keyboarding because you really have to know what you're doing. And I have to break my habit of looking at the keyboard.
We all do that.
I had a typing instructor in high school, and again, I'm pretty old, so it was typewriters as opposed to that. But she actually walked around with a ruler, and she would pop your hand if you were looking at the keyboard. And so I kept one. I have pretty wide peripheral vision. What she didn't know is I could see it. Anyway, so from playing baseball, but I always looked at it. But I know exactly what you're talking about. You're supposed to be looking at your text, not your keyboard. So what did you find most challenging?
Well, some of the math courses initially were a little bit challenging because my algebra skills were somewhat rusty from way back when. But James Sprunt has tutoring if you need it, and I was able to complete it successfully. Also, you might not notice it today. Maybe that's due to Office Administration's reinforcement, but Tashi and I both have some stress levels when it comes to speaking orally to the public, like we're doing today.
Like right now?
Yes, like right now. Yes, this is kind of stressful, but we've learned some stress management skills through the Office Administration program, which is helping us to get this done pretty well, I believe.
Well, first of all, y'all are doing a great job. I try to tell everyone this is easy to do. We're just sitting here looking at one another and having a conversation. But I know I'm a ham, and it's easy for me to do it, so I'll be honest. This doesn't bother me at all. Mark Twain once said, "Give a man confidence in ignorance, and success is sure to come." And I'm pretty sure I qualify on both ends. So, but I do get that not everyone is that comfortable, and I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to talk about it. We asked about what was most challenging. What was some courses that you found most enjoyable?
I love records management because
Wow.
filing and being organized, that was a great deal for me. I loved it a whole lot.
There's a lot you could teach me. That is not my strong suit. Those who know me well know that I like to think of things. I don't really like to put them away when I'm through playing with them. What about you, Jonelle? What are your favorite
All the
courses?
courses that are directly related to Office Administration, like the keyboarding and the Word and Excel, the things that we get to practice in our lab work, the hands-on skills that you're going to need when you're actually out there working in the workforce, those are the things that I found most beneficial. You learn all the formatting for business correspondence that you're definitely going to have, so it's very helpful, and I enjoy doing those type of things.
Yeah. So what would you say are some of the things that set Office Administration apart maybe from like the typical business administration, from or the accounting program? So what makes your program different?
Well, I think business is more theory, and accounting is kind of specific to accounting itself, whereas Office Administration encompasses all of that and then some.
Okay.
And mainly the fact that we get to work in the lab doing practical, hands-on experience with the things that we're learning. You have your textbooks where you're getting the education from that, but then you have to actually apply it. And that's something that Office Administration does very well.
Okay. Tashi? She's looking at me like, why did you ask me this question? Do you agree that, the difference is more applied, I guess, in Office
Yes.
Administration than perhaps business administration in general? Yeah, I agree. So both of you have mentioned lab work. In talking with Jeff, we said that one of the things that distinguishes the VOTEC programs from perhaps more college transfer programs is the amount of lab work that you might do. Talk a little bit about the labs that you might encounter in Office Administration.
Well, now that Microsoft has changed to 2013, we do a lot of Word, Excel, Publisher, all that sort of stuff. Keyboarding, anything you name, we do it all.
Okay. So Microsoft Office would be one of them in all of its complements. What about, are there other labs that you've done? Jonelle, put you on the spot.
Well, practically every course related to Office Administration has lab work.
Okay.
So anything that you would need in that area, you're going to need practical hands-on experience, and that's always part of it. You've got a certain amount of hours of what would be lecture, so to
Right.
speak, and then the rest of it is, can you do what we talked about in class today and this week? And you do, whatever the assignments are, and you see how you're able to apply what you were supposed to have learned. And if you don't, understand it, you have your advisor, your instructor there to help you with it, other students to help you with it. And by the time you get to the end of the semester, you really have gained a lot of knowledge, another little lump on the brain, so to speak.
Again, folks, this is the Community and Small Business Update for Duplin County. I'm Lee Woodard, and right now we're interviewing two students that are currently in the Office Administration program, Jonelle and Tashi. The number to call in if you're interested is 289-2031. Again, that's 289-2031. And we're just going to keep right on going through our interview. So you're just about to step out and graduate. You feel like you're prepared and ready to hit the workforce?
I do, because when I first started, I was shy. Talking was not really my thing, but I'm working on it, and I've got better through the office administration because our teacher, Miss Erin, we do a lot of. She makes us get up there and talk a lot. So I've gotten used to it.
And that's really, I can't stress, at least from my experience, being able to communicate in a small or large setting, being willing and capable of talking, and is vital. It's vital to your career success, but not even just you individually. It's vital to the success of the business. I mean, we're not going to get very far if we can't communicate with one another. Do you think that the program aligned well with your personal goals?
Sure, it certainly did. As I mentioned earlier, since my previous work experience was in the office setting, all these courses that are in the office administration program at James Sprunt were right down my alley, and they reinforced what I already knew, improved things that I didn't really understand properly, and taught me better time management. And like Tashi said, it's really been helpful to us to broaden our horizons and let us be more open. And like today, when we're in here doing this, it's not as stressful as I thought it was going to be, and that's all due to
they never
the office
believed me.
administration program.
They just never believed me.
You should have seen us at the beginning of the semester, though. We were like trembling, shaking, sick.
Well, y'all are doing a great job. I got a couple more questions for you. What about supplies that are needed? I know in many instances, VOTEC programs require additional tools or supplies. Did you have any that you needed to have for this program?
Of course, computers and the internet, and they have computer labs even if you don't have one.
So you can get through this program without having your own computer?
Yes, they have academic support center with stuff that's available, and the library is always there.
And student support center. They have different computer labs on campus.
It's easier if you have access, at home where you can do work at all hours.
Right.
But there is availability out there for you if you don't happen to be lucky enough to own those.
So I guess then, my final question for you would be, would you recommend it now that you've gone all the way through this, would you recommend this program to students that are considering it? What would you say to them?
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun. You learn a lot that will help you in the workforce.
That's right. The social networking with other students, just the college atmosphere, it's all beneficial, and we love it.
Well, I want to tell you, ladies, you've done just an astounding job. My guests were Jonelle Findeisen, sorry about that.
That's all right.
And Tashi Pratt, two students that will be graduating this May in the Office Administration program with their Applied Associate's degree. It was excellent talking with them. And now we're going to play musical chairs again while we bring in Vanessa James. Vanessa is our cosmetology instructor. And one of the things that want to remind you, this is the Community and Small Business Update for Duplin County. And as she gets her headphones on, Vanessa?
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
No sound. Okay. All right. Now, I was telling our engineer I didn't have any sound, but he's looking at me like, yeah, you do. So, Vanessa, let's talk a little bit about cosmetology.
Okay.
Go right ahead, okay? If someone wants to get their cosmetology degree, how long are they going to be in the program?
Our cosmetology program is 1,500 clock hours required by the North Carolina State Board of Cosmetic Art. So every day that the student is there, they get hours for being there.
Okay.
And we offer the associate's degree in cosmetology, and that takes roughly 2 years. And then again, your attendance plays a huge part of that. 2 years and 5 semesters. So if you come like you are supposed to, you can get out in 2 years. We also offer the cosmetology diploma. It takes over 1 year to complete, 4 semesters, and again, your attendance plays a huge part. We have the certificate in cosmetology. That takes 1.5 to 2 years to complete. It's a part-time cosmetology program, and it's offered in the evening. And last but not least, we have their certificate in cosmetology instructor training. This course is for any licensed cosmetologist that would like to be an instructor. This course is offered in the evening.
Okay, so this program is to be an instructor, not just, okay, excellent.
Right, so you have to have your North Carolina State Board of Cosmetic arts license in order to take this
Okay.
this training program. It's offered at night, but we have had interest in people wanting to come during the day. So we'll see in the fall if we're going to have students in the day for that.
Excellent.
And our day program is held Monday through Thursday from 8:15 to 2:50 for the first 2 semesters, and 8:15 to 2:15 for the remaining semesters for the day program. And the evening program is from 4 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Oh, that's excellent. And one of the things too, I'll plug the Small Business Center, where you remind your students as they're coming through cosmetology, if they think they want to open up their own salon, make sure they get to me, and we'll work with them to get them a business plan before they graduate and get out of there.
Okay.
So once someone starts the program, how long will it take them before they can actually work on live customers' hair? They start with mannequins, I guess.
Yes, they do. As a beginner coming into the cosmetology department, they're in a room with nothing but beginners and an instructor, and they're required to complete 300 clock hours in the beginner lab, and it takes 16 semesters. And once they complete their 300 hours, then they go to the clinic floor, the simulated salon. But while they're there in the beginner lab, they're learning the meat and potatoes of cosmetology.
Okay.
They have to learn everything from how to hold a comb properly, how to hold a brush, or curling irons, things like that. And this is where they also take their theory and their practical procedures. Some of their theory chapters in their My Lady Standard cosmetology book are professional image, sanitation, bacteriology, disinfection, first aid, anatomy and physiology, electricity, chemistry, and professional ethics. And I always have people asking, why do they have to learn anatomy and physiology? Well, you're working on people's bodies, not the whole body, but their head. We do facials. They have to learn the muscles and the bones of the face, the hands, the arms, the neck, things like that. So that's where that comes in. And theory classes, 50 minutes every day that we're there.
Listening to you talk about the theory courses, I was pretty sure I wasn't qualified to be a cosmetologist. Now I'm certain of it. It's a pretty extensive list of things that they need to know, and I am, I guess I'm comforted to know that it's 300 hours before you actually get to start doing anything,
Right.
in the sense of working with someone.
Right, and 300 hours isn't a lot because you're learning everything, and you're there 6.5 hours a day. And while you're practicing on the mannequins only, you're learning roller sets, rod sets, finger waves, pin curls, scalp treatments, hair cutting, razor cutting, thinning shear use, Marceau curling iron techniques, blow dry styling, flat iron techniques, thermal press and curling, artificial hair, permanent waves, color, relaxers, hair lightening, manicures, pedicures, facials, and lash and brow tint.
Yeah, that's a pretty extensive list. I noticed that one of the theories you had was first aid. Listening to some of the tools you've got there, I would definitely need that because I would cut myself. I can already tell you.
Right.
I can't cut fish without cutting myself, so much less.
Right, but that's why we have a first aid chapter.
Good.
So when you cut yourself, you'll know what to do.
Excellent. So, no doubt, this program, like many in Votech, carries with it, you've got to have your own tools in order to
Yes,
do
you do.
this. So what might come in a cosmetology kit?
Everything from soup to nuts, really.
Okay.
You have your blow dryers, you have 3 mannequins, you have your flat irons, you have various Marcel irons, you have different types of shears, you have different types of brushes, different types of combs, you have aprons that you wear, you have capes for the customer to protect them, you have containers to put your supplies in, and it's a big kit, and it sort of looks like a mini refrigerator on wheels. And
Oh,
then
okay.
there's a duffel bag that's attached to it on top where you put more things in there. So when when the students come in, they are equipped to come to work, and even once they graduate, they can go straight out into the salon with their cosmetology kit.
That's excellent. And, again, sometimes I'm not a very gracious host. I didn't ask you, Vanessa, how long have you been with James Sprunt?
I'm coming up on my 5th year.
Oh,
It'll be 5
congratulations.
years in August.
Okay, and just like I asked the students, what do you like most about working in this program?
I like it because we have the freedom to teach the students the basics, advanced techniques, everything that we know, and according to the North Carolina State Board of Cosmetic Arts, and plus we have a great supervisor, Mr. Myers, over there. He gives us freedom, and the students love it, the customers love it. We're always full. We have a line wrapped around our waiting area door every morning that we open. So it's really great working at James.
Well, let's talk about it. You kind of mentioned it with the North Carolina boards. What kind of exams do you have to take? What type of certifications, licensures do you have to be a licensed cosmetologist?
Okay, for any licensed cosmetologist, you have to do theory work. Okay, and with the theory work, at the end of your time in any beauty college, you have to go and take a 100 multiple choice test. And you don't know what they're going to ask, so you have to know everything in the book. Our book has 32 chapters.
Ouch. And
a million questions. So what we do to prepare the students, once they get on the floor and they're advanced students, we have mock exams that we give them weekly.
Oh, okay.
And they have to pass every exam with at least an 85 or higher.
Okay.
And they get it every week, whether they want to or not. But by the time they leave, they are ready to go to state board and pass.
Okay. How long is the state board exam?
How long does it take?
Yeah.
It takes half a day. They have 2 sessions. They have a morning session and an afternoon session. And also you have to take a practical exam.
Oh.
Where you're taking your mannequin and you're tested on different techniques that the state North Carolina State Board of Cosmetic Arts, they ask of you.
Now, where do you take the exam?
The written exam, it could either be taken at different locations in Wilmington, Raleigh. There's a few satellite areas depending on what part of North Carolina that you live in, but for our students, they normally end up going to Wilmington.
Okay.
Now, the practical exam, that's held in Raleigh.
Okay.
So the students have to get up pretty early to get there, because if they're late, they will not allow them to get in.
Yeah, so do we have a dress code for our students?
Yes, we do. They have to wear a black scrub uniform.
Okay.
And we chose scrubs because scrubs are very comfortable. Students are standing 3 to 5 hours today, sometimes even more. And they need something that, if in case it gets dirty, black really won't show a lot of, color stains or oil stains or what have you. So they have to wear black uniform, black socks, black comfortable shoes or sneakers. Again, you're standing 3 to 5 hours, so this uniform is required.
And that, you're really sort of establishing the professionalism that you expect those students to have once they're out on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you've talked a little bit about the labs that you have and a lot of the hands-on, and then you have a simulator in there that simulates a salon. Do you ever go on field trips or anywhere
Yes, we do. We visit different salons, barbershops, beauty supply stores, whether it's in Jacksonville, Wilmington, from Clinton all the way to Fayetteville. And this gives students a chance to see what's really out there, and how hard you have to work in order to achieve your goals. And as far as field trips, last month we went to New York.
Oh.
Yeah, this is our second year going. Last year I put together our second trip going to the International Beauty Show. This is in Manhattan. It's held at the Jacob Javits Center, and this is where the students go and they see firsthand competitions. They're seeing professionals at work. They're able to take live free hands-on classes. They can buy beauty supplies or different tools that they need, either for now while they're in school or once they get out, so they'll be well equipped.
Well, that's really interesting. I'm sure that trip is a highlight.
Yes, it is. It's like a 2.5, 3 day quick trip up. We leave on a Sunday, and this year we actually had 50 people go.
Wow. We
had four instructors. We had 2 instructors, actually 3 instructors from James Sprunt, myself, Miss Darlene Devane, and we had a barber instructor go, as well as cosmetology students, barber students, and we also invited Cape Fear Community College, Fayetteville Technical Community College, and I think that was it.
Oh, okay.
So all of us went up. We were one big happy family, and while we were there, we got a chance to visit this superstar barbershop called Denny Moe's. And actually, Denny Moe is from North Carolina. He's from Kinston.
Oh.
And he talked to our students about being professional and, different business techniques. And he also talked about his humble beginnings here and how he made it there. And actually, his show was spotlighted on this primetime series called, his beauty shop was highlighted on this primetime series called What Would You Do? And the students loved it. We took a lot of pictures. They got a lot of professional advice. And from there, we went to the Beyonce Cosmetology Center. Her and her mom, they donated, I think, money to buy supplies and the equipment for the beauty school there. So we were able to go there and visit that. And
Was she there?
no, she wasn't.
Okay.
When she comes, no one can be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, we did not see Beyonce that trip.
Okay.
We saw a picture of Beyonce.
Okay.
We also toured Central Park, Chinatown, Little Italy, 42nd Street in Times Square, 34th Street in Macy's. So we shopped, we ate, we got great information from the hair show, and we came on back.
Yep. Now, New York is one of my favorite places to visit. I have a sister that lives in the city, so it's so a lot of fun. So I know they had a great time. And we're looking at the clock, where again, it's so hard to believe we run out of time so fast. Let's. One of the things I do want to ask you is, okay, so I'm in the cosmetology program and I'm completing it. What are some of my career options?
There are so many. I'm going to just run through a little list that I have. You can be a cruise line specialist. You can work on a
that's
cruise ship,
interesting.
like Carnival,
Right.
because people want to get manicures and pedicures. They want to get their hair done while they're on the ship, as far as a salon stylist. So you can work for someone, or you can have your own business. You can be a hair color specialist, where that's all you do is just hair color. A texture service specialist, where you're just dealing with permanent waves, relaxers, things like that. Or a makeup artist. When you turn on the news, cosmetologists are the ones that do the makeup for people on the news or on TV. So we're very in high demand. Wig or extension specialist. A lot of cancer patients need wigs and things like that. So that's a high. It's really high demand. Skincare specialist, esthetician, nail technician, manicurist, day spa stylist or technician, a salon manager, product educator, a session stylist. There are students that have moved to New York and worked on video sets, so music videos, so they need people to do their hair, style their makeup, things like that. You can be a platform artist. At the show that we just went to, we had a lot of platform artists there doing hair. A competition champion. There's always competitions at hair shows, and they get big bucks to do what they do. You can be an educator like myself, a writer, a state board member, or a salon owner. So there's endless choices out there.
Yeah, and I'd never thought about it, but all of those make perfect sense as
Yes,
far
they do.
as potential career options. I like the cruise one.
Yeah.
We've got just a couple of minutes left, so is there anything you would like to say to prospective students that are perhaps listening to us today?
Well, what you can do, you can always come by and see us. We're there all the time. You can give us a call at 910-296-2599. You can follow us on Twitter or on Facebook at JSCC Cosmetology, and on Instagram at JSCC Cosmetology. So
Yeah,
we're out
Instagram's a
there.
great place for
Yes, it is.
cosmetologists, because there's a lot pretty to see, right?
That's right.
Well, again, as my friends Click and Clack say, you've wasted an entirely good hour on this Saturday morning. Actually, that's not true. We've had a great time talking to Jeff and Vanessa and Erin and our two guest students, Jonelle and Tashi. It's been very good talking about the VOTEC program. I'm Lee Woodard, and this was the Community and Small Business Update for Duplin County. We'll be back next week, where rumor has it I'll have an attorney, and we'll be talking about things on business law for small business. Well, I hope y'all have a great weekend, and talk to you next week.